Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
To the second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Got Devin Gordon with us
at Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
What's going on Monday, July 29th, 2024? I am Jimmy here with Chris and Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Monday evening after Summer Nationals. It was a wild one, that's for sure. We're going to be talking a lot about the entire week. The Outlaws were here in town, in the area between BAPS and the two nights at Williams Grove. We'll talk about the other two other two races, Lernerville, Wheat Sport, and look at the week ahead. What's going on, everybody in the chat? I see Randy Kopp here. He says, "Good evening, JC, Jimmy, and maybe Chris. Chris was missing in action Thursday night."
Maybe that was. But I'm here now.
Brad, Thursday night.
The Roland podcast.
I was busy. I had some stuff to take care of. And then I ran into all these guys on Friday. So I was very much alive, very much not in jail, Randy. I saw you. Very much free man doing some things. Thursdays are a little busy now these days. So.
Well, we'll be talking about that a little bit later. We kind of have a little, we'll talk about that podcast later. So let's jump right into this past week. If I can hit the right button, hold on. There we go. It's Wednesday night at BAPS, the Brickers Bash. James McFadden kicks off the week as a high limit driver. Winning here over David Gravel and Sheldon Hodenshield. Jay-Z, you were there. What did you see from this race?
Another interesting BAPS racetrack, and this might be a year other than having rubber and tire wear issues. This has been some of the stranger races for BAPS this season. Heavy all night. It was heavy all night, and they still put water down. And I really believe they were trying to keep the dust down for a big show like that, which unfortunately I think threw everyone in the field for a loop because not one car looked like comfortable all night. At least it looked, from what I'm used to seeing at BAPS, the attitudes of the cars, everyone was set up for something different. But it was all the same for everyone else, and McFadden got it done. So, or excuse me, it was an equal playing field for everybody. The guys that
Right.
showed up and don't run here often: McFadden, Gravel, Sheldon, Elias ran some laps. Brock has over the past. But a lot of these guys don't run there a lot, and they got it done. So no excuses from anybody. It was the same for everyone, and it just wasn't the BAPS that we're used to. Just feel like they really put a lot of emphasis on keeping dust down for this event, and it created, unfortunately, not the greatest race I've ever seen, for sure. But McFadden got it done, and McFadden looked good coming into this weekend. He had some speed, looked good. So crashed going for the lead, right? The other week. So
Yep.
the other night before, got it done, got to see a shoey live. Never seen that before. So, from an important person who knows what they're doing, with a shoey, and, he was obviously throwing victory lane. So Gravel P2, Sheldon P3, really good run for Brock there. This was definitely a night where you wanted to start up front there. Brad kind of took out Geo, lost break, kind of took him out there during that. But other than that, a pretty clean night. Didn't have McFadden on our radar for this race, so I don't think any of us really did. But really good job by him getting the win.
I had him on the radar for Williams Grove, and he ended up not even being at Williams Grove. So to see him win this, I was pretty shocked as well. I watching it on Dirt Vision. They watered it after time trials, and I was kind of like, okay, that's ballsy move. Let's see how that plays out. And the track still did end up in the feature having a solid 2 lines. It wasn't up by the wall. It was about halfway up the track, and then you had a extreme bottom, is what it looked like to me. And um, you could still kind of move around a little bit, but it was pretty locked down. And like you said, if it was for Dustin, it was I get it. Wednesday night, big show. You want to probably try to keep that down. Um, the Brad Sweet thing was interesting. He said he just lost brakes, and Gio says he's been having bad luck because they were running 4th and 5th, I believe, at the time. And
Gio started on the pole this race. All right, fell back a little bit into the clutches, the guys. So he was already probably not going in the direction he wanted, and then it got worse. So
yep, yeah, it was just you don't see that for Brad Sweet very often, and it was just mechanical failure, and Gio was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and yeah, just kind of Gio still ended up coming back up to 16th somehow. But yeah, good for McFadden. High limit guy, not a posse guy, not an outlaw guy. It was a high limit guy. So Dave Smeltzer here with a good point here. Chase Dietz was quick time and the highest finished posse. Chase looked really, really strong. And you have a couple other posse guys there in the top, right around the top 10 there. Macri, Borden, Wagaman, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Danny struggled a little bit. What stood out? Yeah.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was like, I thought
you were going to ask a question.
Your thoughts on it?
That cone's getting to me. So Danny said the track through admitted track messed him up and they never recovered. I don't know. BAPS has been different all year. Like, I don't know. I think it's still a good race, and James McFadden winning is not an unpopular one here. He raced here all those years in a Highland car. But I don't know. It's fun seeing guys that are fans. Like, it's kind of like when Rico comes in and he wins. It's not a posse guy, but it's like the next best thing.
Right. At least it's not an outlaw.
And Chase Dietz, to your point of Chase Dietz, very fast. And it's kind of, we talked about leading into this, guys like him, guys like Troy. They're the guys that have to have those kind of nights. And we'll get to Williams Grove where we kind of had a guy do that for us. They show up and they're at least in contention all night long and made it fun for us.
The worst part about that whole deal with Chase is that, he goes quick time, he wins his heat, looked good doing it, but he pulled the 8 in the redraw for the dash. And with the way that track was, that's a killer, right? It's difficult. It's difficult to get up here, pass all these cars, and when there's not a lot of other lines to run. You got what you got, and you're hoping for some luck, right? He got sixth, and two cars in front of him wrecked, right? So let's put that on the table and think about that. Like Sweet took out Gio while he was around them, in front of them, behind them, whatever. But like that's a good run, but damn, that's disappointing for us as Posse fans. How does this feature go if he pulls the 2 or the 1 for the dash? We don't know, but he pulled the 8 for the dash, and that sucks. It was not great for the way the night went, and maybe a normal BAPS surface allows him the opportunity to that for these guys to spread out and make some room, make some room to go. So again, it was the same for everybody. Everybody had the same surface to work with, and some made it work and some didn't, right? Some, clearly it wasn't drying out. So
Right, and
you make your changes and go.
And to Jeremy's point and to Dan Dietrich's point, look at the guys that we watch BAPS races for their series. Who are the guys always at the front? Kind of all together there. Borden, Troy, Danny, Freddie. They're all kind of in that mid pack. And I know the Outlaws are here, so that's stiffer competition. But I think it was just a straight loop and threw them all through a loop for the night. That's just the way it goes.
I feel like there was a rain delay here, right? Everything got pushed back by a half hour. Got a little bit of rain, which is why I wasn't shocked to see it so wet and so locked down. I was surprised to see them keep putting moisture on it, but they have their reasons. So to say that they had no clue the track was going to be that way, you knew it rained earlier before everything even started. So I don't know if I buy all that.
I think to your point, whenever they kept watering the track is the part that they're not used to. And we've been there and we've seen him. What was it, Jimmy? The other week we were there, and what they do? They did nothing but roll the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
now they got shit for that too. So in their defense, what do we want as race fans? They didn't do anything there. They rolled the top. Like, well, what the hell was that going to do?
Yeah.
Now they're like, oh, why are you watering? What the hell is that going to do? They're kind of getting that little bit of that treatment Williams Grove used to get. Like, it doesn't matter what they do, they're gonna get shit for it. But
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about the track. I'm more saying for the drivers, like Jay-Z's point before, they were all in the same boat. They all knew, and you kind of had to figure, after rain moved and you guys are going to try to go right into it, that for most of the night it was probably going to be pretty locked down anyway. But yeah, I mean, I get it. But McFadden gets it done. Gio was up there for a while, and obviously with the Brad Sweet thing, I'm trying to think of any of the other. I think that was really. Is that the only wreck I think in the feature? But yeah, Brock Zierfoss, man, P4, good shit. I was happy to see that. Definitely
the best part of this night. Best part of the night was the flyover that I don't think was meant to be a flyover. Like a C-130 flew like 200 feet over the track right above the front stretch.
Really?
Freaking gigantic plane, and it was like right before heat motor or right before hot lap started. Like it would have been around like opening ceremonies, I think, or something. The original one, it all got moved back. So we're standing there and we're waiting for the first cars to come on the track, and this giant ass plane flies right over the front stretch. Man, it was cool as hell. I'm sure they were out of Indiantown Gap, but man, that was cool. That thing looked like it was going to scrape the lights. It looked that low. It was awesome.
Oh wow. That's pretty wild. That would have been perfect timing, though. Probably, if it was weird, like it wasn't rain delay.
Yeah, it was close. I don't think it was planned because it wasn't the perfect time. I thought, like, looked at the watch and I'm like, first thing I thought was planned flyover, but I don't think it was. I think it just happened to be, but it was close to the time it would have been the original opening ceremonies, maybe. So who knows? But it was still cool either way. That might have been the coolest part of the night. And I didn't have my camera out. I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, oh, I should have taken a picture of that. Anyway.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Any other final thoughts from this BAPS race? Anybody that stands out to you that maybe, weren't expecting? I mean, obviously McFadden. I definitely wasn't expecting Brock up in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the biggest surprise. Otherwise, everyone else is there that I would kind of expect to be there at a BAPS race. How many cars were there?
A little bit of a weird wild card night. It didn't get a split. It was 30,
33.
30
I think
a couple.
I think it was 33 because I think they split at 34. If I remember correctly, it's either 32 or 34 that they split. So maybe it was 31 cars. But yeah, just let's move on to Williams Grove then on Friday. I think this is the story of the week. Obviously, the story of the week.
It's our story of the week.
It's our story of the week for sure. I I know I got some shit from like Ryan Smith after the race here, saying because we on the podcast last week were saying I don't know if a posse gets the
Define
win.
the we, because it
Well,
was
me for sure.
and Jeremy.
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
even know if we would get a podium all weekend.
right.
Yep, that was a bold move, but it worked out really well.
I mean,
for you.
really, was it though? Let's be honest. Was it?
If Mercedes
Look at-
does
Wait, no.
Mercedes things, that thing goes really bad for you on Friday.
But what do you mean?
If you just wrecks gravel, you got Macri and Raymer in the podium.
Oh yeah, that was going to happen. Go flip real quick to the next night's results. What were the top three?
Yeah, there you
Really? Like we're not
Well-
that far from not having posse in the podium all weekend. Let's be honest.
go. Yeah.
So, but let's
that's
go back
true.
to this because this needs celebrated. This is important.
Yeah, this was when we were
was cool.
talking
This was
guys
cool as
last
shit.
week. When we were talking guys last week of like who's the posse guy that's gonna defend the turf? Macri. Macri was like the first one that we all said, and then you have Marks, Troy, Danny, Freddie. I can't remember who, but somebody did say TJ Stutz in the chat, and he has been strong there. But I he's never won. Never. This is his first Outlaw win. I didn't put him as a winner. I put him, probably, top tens. I could have imagined. He does have speed there, especially the way Williams Grove is. Hard to pass on. And he's such a good time trialer. I figured he'd be up there, but a win, and he did it by like gravel did slide him. He slid him back. It was a very good race. It's not like he just inherited the lead and went with it. He had to pass gravel on the opening lap. He started second, and then gravel was throwing everything he could at him. It was a great race. What are your thoughts, guys, from this?
Josh has the quote of the campground in the chat for all night Friday night. When you walked around after the races, that's all you heard all day or all night and all day Saturday for that matter. DJ F and Stutz, baby. It was fun. It was fun to watch, and you're right. Gravel had the pole. You kind of thought it's a wrap, right?
Yeah.
And it was a battle. And I thought a few times TJ was gonna get past, but he hung tough like a wily veteran he is, and I don't know. It was that energy, and it's what makes these outlaw posse races special, especially at Williams Grove. The energy was there. Just everyone became TJ Stutz fans.
There's a lot, and we had a lot of obviously time to talk about it, kind of relive it, rethink it. The race was won almost on lap one. He had to earn the rest of it, but lap one, when gravel went to the bottom, kind of slid through 1 and 2, and TJ ripped around the top. Turns out was the race winning move, right? Because he didn't relinquish it after. David threw a slider, gravel threw a slider at him, once in 3 and 4, and TJ was able to turn under, and then lap traffic went the perfect way for him. He actually pulled away through lap traffic at the end of that race. But that lap one, turn one, that move around the top where it stuck and he just gassed it up and was gone, wins him the race. And none of us really saw it coming. We knew he was a good time trialer. Like I mentioned Chad Trout because he's a good time trialer. Could this kind of thing happen? And this is exactly this. I'm not saying that I was right by any means. You don't even see Chad Trout on here, but that's the style of racing that these two guys can do. They can both time trial well. They have experience. They're not 20, 30, 40, 50 time winners at Williams Grove, but am I like shocked the world here? Yes and no. I think like he won a race earlier this year. He's had speed all year in multiple cars. Shock the world, yeah, for sure. But at the same time, this isn't shock the world. Like if
No, this
Well,
is,
I saw this.
come
I saw
on,
this.
this
I saw this
is-
debate. I saw this debate on who
like
posted it.
it's a big,
Doesn't have
it's
them
an
on
it's a
Facebook.
huge all-time
what's it-
outlaw upset. Absolutely.
What's it
But to
comparable
us,
to?
I don't even know if I know the answer. And they talked about it on the broadcast, and I saw it on Twitter. It's one of the top 10 outlaw upsets of all time. It is. It absolutely is.
Sure, anyone.
It fits in the category.
You're
for
right.
us,
For anyone who
knowing
doesn't
that
live here,
right? Can you relax a fucking second?
no.
But for us knowing how good TJ can time trial, is it completely this miracle in Central PA? No. He's he's won races. It's been a long time. We've seen him have some success and be very competitive for a long time. It's a huge upset. I don't know what it compares to. There's a lot of names that went around. The Friesen win that he got that one time way back a bunch of years back. There were some other ones around the country. Brock, when he was in the 58, beat the Outlaws, a while back. Like, this fits in that category for sure, Chris. And none of us saw it coming. None of us really had it and said, this is going to be the guy you got to watch. No, none of us did. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not taking anything away or the shock of it, but I'm really not. Like, I didn't have it on my radar. I didn't pick him. I didn't mention his name. But if Steve Buckwater went and did this, I also would be like, yeah, like I could see him getting this done because he's won a bunch of races. He won 3 races at Williams Grove last season, right? If that night went the perfect night for him, would it be a shock the world scenario?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I
I don't
think
fall into that category. Maybe I overestimate TJ and the rest of the world doesn't, but
in terms of them being good at the track that they run weekly, yeah, I get it. And they have a shot, obviously, because they have a lot of experience there. I get that part, but nobody had them winning, man. There's no way.
If this happens at Williams Grove in September or October, whatever it is,
that wouldn't be.
I'm less surprised.
Yeah.
It's still huge, still a shocking thing, but I'm much less surprised because of how good he's been there over the years at Williams Grove. And given that this field, did I read right? Is this only his second career win at Williams Grove? Which I thought was crazy when I read it somewhere. It's just his second Williams Grove win
this year.
Right.
I think it's his third. Is his third all time,
which is crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to think that we could see it coming, that's crazy. But yeah, we see him every week. We know he's fast if he gets in the right situation. This was the scenario we talked about more so for a Troy Wagaman, a Chase Deeds. But yeah, so to Jeremy's point, a little bit, kind of like the Chase Deeds, the Troys. TJ's in maybe that back half of that category, at least people we mention. Nothing against him, but he's just not the guy doing it over and over again at all these other events, week in and week out.
Yep, you're right. No, for sure. This was awesome. The celebration was probably the best part.
Great.
The win we knew, and I was hyped. But that celebration will be one of my favorite celebrations of all time. In Victory Lane with his boys, with his mom, the crowd chanting TJ, TJ. It's posse territory, and it would have been a popular win no matter what posse member won that race. But there was just this next level sentimental underdog, grinded out type win that, man, it just resonated with everybody in that place. And if you weren't cheering, you didn't have a pulse. That's really where I'm at with it. Or you're just an Outlaw fan, right? Like you're there to see Kyle Larson, who didn't show up. Like that's who you were. If you otherwise, people, the Sprint Car Hub, the big Facebook page on here. The gentleman who runs that was here, and in Victory Lane, he's going like, kind of like, who is this guy a little bit, right? Like, how'd you get to know? We were talking about it. He did, when, I don't know if he got to do an interview or not, but he's a fan of the sport and was kind of like, this guy win much? Kind of like, hey, like just for us, if we were doing the same over there, they'd be like, yeah, we know the guy. He's been around. He's a veteran. This, that. But for us, we'd be like, who the hell was that? There was some of that maybe going on. People that don't go to the races a lot or came to see the World of Outlaws and are like, oh, I don't know who that is. But man, what a sentimental win. Very emotional. Clearly, we'll go down in history. One of my favorite that I've seen in person.
Absolutely. Randy Kopp wants to know: is there any truth to the rumor that Jay-Z got an "I Love Stutz" tattoo?
If that's a rumor, I've had worse rumors, I guess. So.
Friday night got real wild then. If that's
I've had worse things said about me. I'll say that. So it wouldn't be the worst thing I've ever had.
Mandy says the energy on Beer Hill after that win was something else. There was people climbing the fences. It was awesome. It was pretty cool.
It was the positive energy too. It wasn't the negative energy. It was the positive
because
energy.
We're going to talk a little bit about the negative energy later. But
yeah, to Jeremy's point, right into the campground was electric.
Campground was buzzing, man.
Compared to Saturday.
So do we roll into our campground stuff? And do you have pictures of this?
I have a couple pictures here. Yeah, I do.
So do we roll into that part of this now, or do we save that for a segment? Oh boy. We'll just do it now. So
it just happened.
The campground. Chris and Jimmy both camped. I'll let them do more of the talking here, but they both camped, stayed. A bunch of us went back after each night and hung out. We were there before, we were there after. The campground, while not natty open campground level, but the energy, because Posse 1 was next level energy in that campground. People riding around, yelling and screaming and carrying on, and
Yep.
it was just festive and upbeat and awesome. And man, we had a good time. Holy crap! Like Chris had a great time. He doesn't remember half of it, but he
I
had a
remember
great
all
time.
of it, buddy. Don't you
You
worry.
don't
I'm not
remember any of it.
I'm
You
the one that had to
don't-
go find Jimmy at 3:30. Are you shitting me?
No. Chris goes, I'm the best person to drink with. You stood in the back of a bed of a truck all damn night. You didn't even know who was there. In the
I
dark.
knew everyone that was there.
You didn't partner with anybody.
I found
Stood in the
Griffey
back
on a
of the truck
pallet.
all
That
night.
happened.
Hey, but anyway, just a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it was so much
Obviously,
fun.
it always helps with that. So, Jimmy, Chris, go ahead.
So earlier in the night, we got to meet up with Steph Showicker and her husband Justin, right?
Yes.
And their family, and they we got shot glasses at the Shark merch trailer, and you get to do a shot. They'll pour a little shot in there. So we got to hang out with them a little bit. We had that cone. That's Tyler Shell underneath that
iRacing
cone.
Quarter Outlaw champion Tyler Shell.
We were all having fun.
He just turned 21 last week, so we are celebrating his birthday.
Yeah,
Is what was
yeah.
going on.
And people we were taking that cone all around. I have it sitting back here, and people were just signing it and having a great time with it. And I don't know what I'm doing there. I don't. I know Dakota had my hat.
There was 3 or 4 people that did that at one point. And
Yes.
I don't remember why.
I don't remember why. I don't know if we saw somebody that way or somebody just
Yeah,
did
I
it.
think someone went
And-
to use the restroom and came out of the bathroom with their shorts like that.
That is true.
I
that is what it is.
and you're
That was
worried about
Shell, wasn't
me.
it?
It might have been.
I don't know.
So you're worried about me. I remember the whole night. You guys don't even know why you're dressed like that.
Were you
That
even
makes
there
sense.
with this?
No, I was sick at the truck still.
Exactly.
I was busy, buddy. I was a little busy.
Standing in the back of the bed of a truck with a dead snake.
And a lady friend. So there's that.
Sitting
not-
there, doing nothing.
We were playing with a dead snake.
We all walked
You're-
away. You're
let's,
sitting there in the dark.
Yeah, what?
Yeesh, this guy. Best partier. Best partier sitting in the bed of a truck.
Jimmy,
he did come and find me and
I did
Dakota at like 3:30 in the morning.
I'm like, what are you idiots
We ran
doing?
into Nasty Nate around that point. We ran into a lot of people. It was really awesome. Just roaming around the campground. People that we knew, a lot of people that we didn't know. We got to meet a lot of people and have a good time and talk to people, meet some people from all over.
Yeah, I think early on, between midnight and 1 a.m., we had a 70-year-old guy sign the cone,
Yes.
a woman. Because
Yes.
first of all, you had to shotgun something out of the cone, drink out of the cone to get your signature on it. We had 2 countries, a 70-year-old guy,
Yes.
a lady, and then a whole bunch of other random people. So we were getting statistics up there pretty quick, and then we lost track because I left at 1. You guys kept going. I headed home, and then the next night we had a few more. So the cone got some work. A lot of shotgun of drinks out of the cone. And we had a great time, and the whole place was having a great time. There was
It was great. Yeah.
no negative vibe.
It was all kick-started by the TJ Stutz win. The entire grounds were just electric from it. Not only is it a posse win, like if Macri wins or Brett Marks wins, even if Danny wins,
Why you gotta say it like that?
I don't think it's the same. You know what
do.
I mean? You do?
It's Outlaws. I
If
do.
Danny and
I do.
Freddie, Danny or
I
Freddie
don't think
wins,
it's
the same.
as high as it was.
Well, maybe not. Oh, you guys played beer pong too?
Yeah,
Damn.
that's where me and Dakota were for a while.
Oh, we lost in cornhole at that same time somewhere else.
But yeah, just it was just a good time, and everybody was having a great time, and that campground is deceivingly big because it looks like half full, but there was a lot of people camped still, and it was just a great time. I always love the atmosphere at Williams Grove, no matter what, and it was just a great time on Friday night, and it was all kickstarted by the TJ Stutz the win.
Loose
Yeah, no
thing I
doubt.
just found out for like why Friday night was better than Saturday night. When I found you, Jimmy, it was like 3 something in the morning, and we could still see in the parking lot because they had the lights on. They turned that shit off Saturday.
Well,
By the time I'm coming back through, I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I can't see nothing.
Let's see a couple comments here. From Josh, he said the crowd chant was definitely awesome. He's definitely not a top dollar team, and the fact that him and his boys wrench on it makes it that much sweeter. Santos says definitely a cool moment, the true underdog story. Griffey misses his pallet bed. And something that we want to cover here. Santos says also sending prayers to Devin Borden during his recovery. Freak thing, it sounded like. Well, if you notice on the results here, is you don't see his name on there, and that was somebody we felt like maybe could kind of get into this mix a little bit. And I guess he had a freak thing before the race, like his hauler and everything was there, his merch trailer was there, but he unfortunately was not. He had a little accident. I guess it sounded like he
From what I read, something with the stove burned. Caught on
yeah,
fire.
something like that. So just hope he's okay and we see him back on the track soon. He ended up missing, unfortunately, Friday and Saturday. Obviously, I mean, if that's what it was, then just bummer. So yeah, thoughts go out to Devin Borden. Hope everything's good. And then Josh also says camping is about 80% of the fun. There's been times I'd rather stay at the camper than go in. Yeah, I could see that.
No, it's
Uh,
never that good.
Um, Santa says it was definitely a freak accident. His t-shirt caught fire while cooking and got second-degree burns
Yep.
on his back.
And that's
So
confirmed from Kelly Stamen.
Yeah.
I'm reading the release right now. So
yeah,
following doctor's orders, don't know when he's gonna be back, but he'll be back as soon as he's cleared to race.
yeah, and you can't strap into you're burned like that. That's got to be tough. And Tyler Koenig right here, like around on a much more scale, is a huge praise to Stevie Sussex after his bad fire in the USAC feature on Friday night. That guy was fully engulfed. I think he was just released out of the hospital today. It was either today or yesterday. Today. Yeah, so hopefully he makes a full recovery. That was pretty tough to see. So yeah, let's go back to Friday night. Any surprise? Any of besides TJ Stutz, the obvious surprise? Any surprises from you guys here? Because I have one, kind of. And that's Kelby Watt. I don't know who this kid was. He was racing hard in the heat, and he made the feature, and he looked okay. Like I never heard of him, and he looked not like he was like winning speed or anything, but I mean he made the feature, and he was looking pretty decent for a while. So he was definitely somebody that like I didn't know anything about the kid really, and kind of got put on my radar a little bit. Darren Pittman, unfortunately, last in this one, but he was running up there. Did he pull in at some point? I believe. I don't think he had. I don't think he was a caution. I just think he pulled in.
I think he pulled in during another yellow.
Yeah,
I think when
something
Whitall
like that.
spun out, when Justin Whitall spun out, I believe that he pulled in during that yellow.
Right. But he was somebody that we talked about probably being in this mix, and he was. We'll talk about when we talk about Saturday night here. Any other surprises from you guys?
I agree with you with Kelby Watt fighting Lucas Wolf for the transfer spot in the A, and from his first couple laps of the night to where he ended up there was just a huge improvement. You could see him learning lap by lap by lap, and we'll see how it goes. Kelby's he's an Iowa kid, and getting an opportunity to run around the country places he's never seen, and certainly not places like this. So, we'll see how it goes for him, and there's a lot of learning to be done, but definitely same Jimmy for sure that put that six car in the feature. So
And his first time ever even seeing Williams Grove. You know what I mean? Like just he's never ran there. It's just Williams Grove is tough, and it's not something a young rookie can just come in and do well at like that, and then race a guy like Lucas Wolf who has probably thousands of laps there. You know what I mean? So, let's see. From Brad says Kelby Watt had been doing very well at most of the tracks the Outlaws have been since he took over. Santos says not necessarily surprised, but more of a shock and awe factor. The fact that Pittman can run 6 times a year, if that, and still run this good is just amazing. I think that, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think he's going to be dangerous
Come national
coming
open time.
come National Open time, but also he's running 360 and the Knoxville Nationals. So I
Not,
think he's a guy that
not
if he
to
does
skip
get more laps, but
not to skip too far into October here, but if he were to win the National Open,
oof,
that campground might be absolutely cooked
no,
because he's not one of those guys that everyone. He came here and raced those years in the Hefner car,
mhm.
and he kind of just became adopted posse. And he's such a nice guy, and we know how much he wants to win this race. He finished second to Fred Raymer when he won his in 2013. Dude, I would
Yeah.
burn the whole thing down.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know.
I think he would, right? Everybody
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
associated
I would
because
go wherever he goes and just burn
right
the whole thing.
there's a reason he's back, and there's a reason he's coming back every year to run this race. He wants this race. He
In
wants
the
the
best
National Open,
in the best
and he's
shot
ran
at it.
second so many times, and he loves it. There's a reason he keeps coming back is he's good at it, and he hasn't won the damn thing. He's got to be one of the best drivers to never win the damn thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
Has to be. Without
just
doing any
has to be.
research. Yeah.
And and obviously, good combo. And I don't know how many years are left, but he still gets in that damn thing and it runs. So
It just the fact that he doesn't run that often, like he could just jump in the car and go is
Right.
incredible.
But
Yeah.
last year he ran in second to shots. No, he ran second, whatever.
To Brent Marks.
Brent Marks, right.
a couple times.
And that was the only time he really ran that car last year, though. He came in for National Open, right? He had a 2-month week before. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Everybody's agreeing here. Marie says Pittman is always good at the Grove. Brad says Pittman is more
Oh.
posse than most of the posse.
Brad's he knows he's medically cleared to come back to the track. He chose violence.
and,
But based on some people, he wasn't born here, so he's not posse. Like Hodnett's not posse then, and
if Pittman wins the National Open, all of Williams Grove is gonna burn, says Mandy. And then Tyler with the stats, 6 runners up in the Natty. Runner up finishes in the Natty Open. Including last year, right? He finished second. So yeah, just he wants to win that one bad, and he's coming here getting laps throughout the year, and I'm sure we're going to see him probably a lot here the next, after Knoxville Nationals. I'm sure we'll probably see him at Williams Grove, just trying to get laps in, I would imagine. So, yeah. Any other thoughts from Friday night?
no, sir.
Let's move on to Saturday, and this was kind of the flip side of the coin, a little bit.
Realize how exciting Friday was.
Yeah. Now this was a good race. This was a very good race. David Gravel gets to win. Battled with Donnie Schatz. Brett Marks was coming. Darren Pittman was up there. Donnie Schatz led a good chunk of this race, and Darren Pittman was there right with him, and he just kind of faded a little bit. And then Gravel's just on fire, man. Like he's just. Where did he finish on Wednesday?
Second.
Second.
Yeah.
So if he's not winning, he's right there for the win. And Donnie Schatz, who's been a lot stronger here lately and is good at Williams Grove himself, it was a fun race to watch. I just wish it wasn't an Outlaw winning, of course, as a posse guy. Thoughts from this race?
You can see that except
Much
building
better
a few
race.
times. Much better race. A few times Pittman had shots at the lead. Even when shots took shots at Gravel, everyone was kind of on anyone but David Gravel in that top 5. That place is probably still mildly happy. If not Brent or Darren Pittman, but I was entertained.
Yeah, entertaining race. Shots even in clean air after that last restart with 5 to go, where Brent had just passed Pittman, and I think Brent might have been the best car on the racetrack at those 5
agree.
to go, and they were in lap traffic, and he was visibly gaining on those top 3, which is unfortunate to have a yellow. But when that yellow came out, I'm like, well, there goes that. Donnie was still he was there. It took probably until 2 to go down in 3 and 4. Donnie was right there and pulled down below and was almost side by side. And he wasn't going to throw a slider. That's not his style, but he didn't go away. And definitely was entertaining. Gravel picks up the win number 100 in his career.
Yep.
They played a video afterward, a little bit of a tribute video put together. Fairly emotional victory lane for that too. Honestly, in a different way for Gravel. And there's I can't tell you I'm the biggest Gravel fan, but 100 wins in the Outlaws is no joke. And there's only
No, nope.
8 people that have ever done it now. I think he's number 8.
He's number 8. Yep.
So, no joke there. Donnie Schatz with a great night. I'm sure his dash draw starting on the pole of the dash was definitely a win for him. Brent with a podium. This probably one of Brent's better runs lately.
Yeah.
I talked to him a little bit in the pits and said we're like a 6th place car right now, and that he's like we just gotta and I feel like he's teetering on the edge of being a 12th place car or a winning car, but he's like a 6th place car, and his dash draw he actually pulled the 2. Lost a spot in the dash, so I think he started 3rd, but by lap 2 he was in like 6th.
Yeah,
So
he
really had
had
to
to come
claw his way
back.
back at that and kind of put himself a little bit behind. Just didn't get a great start, but again, a good race. Justin Peck with the top 5. He was ripping the top with Brent there at the end. I think Brent just got just a touch better, and Justin kind of leveled off. Just timing. Lance DeWeese P8. Good night for Lance for sure.
Yeah, after not,
Rebounds.
he didn't even make it the night before, I believe.
Rebounds from the night before.
He
Yeah,
did. He made it out of the B. He was the last transfer
Oh yeah,
out
he
of the
did.
B.
He did. Yeah, that's right. Let's
Yeah,
come back to me there.
but yeah, no, like again, a good race here. But yeah, no, gravel gets it done. Can't listen, man. We talked about it. It's gravel. Could I pick him twice at these places? And really, look what happened. Second, win, and then goes to Weedsport and wins. So
Yeah.
we weren't wrong. Nobody was. The whole world knew what was coming, and we just had to do something to stop him. McFadden and TJ got it done 2 of the 3 nights, so can't hate on that because it could have just as that easily.
It could have
We were
just
that
been
close to it being a gravel sweep of the whole weekend. So
Yeah, he could have 4 wins in
and
4 races.
week and weekend. So, but yeah, no, that's all about it for this one.
Yeah,
I think with David Gravel, I want to just tie the thing. David Gravel, obviously, Jeremy said the 8th driver, 100 career Outlaw wins, and he started here, right, in the 89G. That was one of those ones I saw that he beat the Outlaws with that car years ago, and he ran here locally for a while. How much of the disdain for gravel here is because he spun Stevie Smith at National Open? Like, I feel like it all goes back to that.
I think
a lot of it does. I think a lot of it goes
but I
back
think
to
also
that.
the fact that he just wins and
Yeah, but it's even when he wasn't winning like this, it wasn't like
oh,
no
for
one liked
sure,
him.
yeah.
But I think at least here in this specific place, it's because
Oh,
he
yeah,
hit
it
Stevie
matters.
Smith and spun him out. And I think it's my problem. I think it's Jeremy's problem for a bulk of it. I think it's most of the damn Williams Grove Beer Hills problem.
Right. Yeah, it's not necessarily.
He seems like a nice enough guy. He interacts on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's kind of funny. His podcast is entertaining. Like compared to Brad Sweet, he's much more of a personality that I'd rather talk to. Like, like I don't know. I think it just goes back to he just spun Stevie Smith out.
I can see that for sure. But I mean, like Donnie Schatz gets a lot of hate too because he won a ton too. So, yeah, I definitely think that's a part of it. Tyler says, Gravel told me he sells more merchandise here in Central PA than anywhere else. Oh, well, Central PA, we had the
most sprint car fans.
Yeah.
Well, Donnie did, and Brad did, and Rico does. Like, it's not like there's a lot of fans out there that aren't the hard posse fans. They're fans of racing, and this guy is a winner. The crowd around his car was bigger than any other crowd. It's not like it's.
Same with Donnie.
I think it's a difference between it's a difference between fans like us that go every week and know a history and know all this stuff, and we don't like him. He's also an outlaw. There's other people around here that are wearing David Gravel shirts because they're like, that guy won. That's a cool looking car. It's black and orange. And the kids and parents that don't know anything, they're like, hey, that's an outlaw. That's a big name, right? So
and maybe they only watched it. And maybe they're only coming in because it's an outlaw, and they've only watched it on Dirt Vision, and they're just Gravel fans. And like I said, he's
some of them. So
and he's a personality. Like he's a good personality.
No, I don't agree with that part. But
compared to Brad Sweet,
I think he's dry. I don't really see anything that of his character or his personality that makes me go, hey, that guy's fun to like watching an interview.
I feel like he'd be fun to party with.
I mean, no, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying. I just don't think I agree with that. I just think he has that. Brad Sweet sold a lot of merch. He has the Napa car. It's the 49. It's there's history there. There's his reputation precedes him, right? He's the World of Outlaw point leader, and he's the main guy to beat, and that's the popular guy, right? So that's okay. That's fine. We all need it. All these tracks will take it, and these guys will take it when they come around here. And
it makes it fun.
love it or hate them, they like coming here, right? They want to win here. Simple as that. So
And it's cool when they come when a guy like TJ Stutz beats them. That's why it's as fun. If they came in there, or say we didn't have a guy like Donnie Schatz or David Gravel that root against, or in a regular week where it's Freddie and Danny, it's the same principle. Danny and Freddie probably sell more merch than anyone else in that infield on a weekly show. Yet everyone apparently hates all of them. Like, doesn't make any sense to me. Like, but it just how it goes because they're the guys that everyone wants to beat.
There was a little bit. Sheldon Haudenschild in his heat race got called on a jump start at Williams Grove. Who would have thought? And then he went on Twitter later on and he did the old Hewitt, the old speech about the official. But he finishes P9 here. That was a wild heat race. I think he got docked. He went from pole to third in his heat race, and then I think he got together with
he
Logan,
started
right?
second. He went from second
Or
to fourth.
second,
He
you're
got
right.
Dr. Rowe.
Second to fourth, you're right. He got Dr. Rowe. But I believe was it him that came down in front of Logan?
I
And
thought
huh?
he was.
I mean, I have receipts. I have the picture of it where they're making contact. They
Yeah.
were just side by side, made contact, Alpha 2. I didn't see it live, but I saw it during, and Logan's on the bottom and Sheldon's above him, and they just make contact. They're side by side, wheel to wheel. I didn't see it live, but where I see the contact happen, doesn't look like one's doing anything egregious to the other. They're just fighting for the same space. That's what I see on the picture I have.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe-
I saw
maybe
it. It didn't seem that way, but it was Haudenschild that kind of came down the track more, from my opinion. But again, I don't think he's like either one is at fault or anything. But it was a wild because it was right after the restart or the restart violation, and then Danny Dietrich rounds out the top 10, hard charger for the night. Good way to kind of cap off the weekend in the sprint car at least. On a little bit of a positive. Amp Bay, I know. Chrislin is my hero. Jimmy didn't say hi. Jay-Z is still my dad. I know I passed him on for one of the nights and I didn't. Friday night, I believe, and
You have to be better.
my bad. I know. My bad. I'm sorry, Amp.
It had to be Friday because I'm pretty sure he was busy pushing 360s out at BAPS on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. Other thoughts here from Saturday night?
No, sir.
I have one more thought before we get off this, and this is the end of this race was ruined in the infield.
Yeah, that thing.
There was a fight. It was going on. It was brewing for a while. And it just became a bigger mob, and it was like trampling kids over, going into other people's spaces, knocking stuff over. And this fight went on during it started during the final caution, and then it went on during the final laps. Like, you couldn't even pay attention to the race because there's people spilling into your lap because they're fighting. And it wasn't until after the race that security could get over to it. It was a shitty way to kind of end the weekend. And I understand things happen, but man, like, just you're around kids and stuff, and you're trampling them over. Like, that's just not cool. It's just not cool at all. Say got a white Ford out in the back out front and go fight them there or something if you really want to, but not in the middle of a race like that in the infield. And you're carrying on from turn 3 up the backstretch all over the place. People are trying to hold back, and it's just making the situation worse. Yeah, shame on you, whoever that was. Just not cool, man. It's just ruined a race for a lot of people in the infield. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's childish, unnecessary. The infield is probably the most concentrated amount of kids anywhere else on the racetrack, and there's a reason. Lawn chairs, and the kids can run around and play and do whatever. And there's kids, and then there's adults that act like kids, and that's what happened here. And it's bullshit. It's a shame. It's just doesn't need to be happening. So yeah, shame on any of you. I doubt any of you are watching, but shame on you for sure. Agreed.
And it was just a lot of hold me back, and it was just unnecessary, man. And it to me it all it was a Freddie fan or a Freddie hater and a Freddie fan. So let
There
that
you go.
you know
I don't.
it strikes again where it just gets too ugly, and it's cool to
On an
be
Outlaw
passionate.
show, like
Yeah, at an Outlaw show, like it's passionate, but it doesn't it before that during the fireworks we're the infield and the beer hill are going back and forth, and I always love that. That's always fun. A lot of people, the vibes were pretty good, and then that happened. It kind of put it out on a sour note.
For sure. Weed sport.
Yeah, let's get to weed sport because the Outlaws went to New York right after on Saturday, and David Gravel again with the win over Sheldon Hodenshield and Carson Macedo. Stuart Friesen out of nowhere with a fourth. You also have Jordan Poirier and Larry White, locals there to the track in the top 10 as well. Watched this on Dirt Vision. Obviously, none of us went there. We're still kind of recovering from the night before or the weekend before. And but yeah, David Gravel he was gone to fight. The race was pretty good between second to like fifth, sixth. Very pretty good. So you guys have any thoughts from this race?
I want to applaud Dirt Vision for Johnny Gibson telling us David Gravel is checked out and showing us the battle between Sheldon, Carson, Stuart Friesen, and Shots. And but that's where that's cool. That they're showing us the actual racing, even though we know David Gravel is checked out by a mile compared to I've seen some other races, for different ones, even Dirt Vision, where they're show you the leader and they're gone by a lot. So can we see what else is happening? But that was cool. That was cool to watch. It was a good race.
Stuart Friesen looked.
Yeah,
he was really good on the bottom. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they barely got the Gravels just come across checkered flag because they didn't want to leave the battle with Friesen and Macedo and Shots and Sheldon. Same. Kudos to Dirt Vision for doing that because Gravel was 3-4 seconds ahead of everybody. So, which is fine. Good for him. He wins the money and the trophy. I don't think he's going to be upset about the lack of TV time at the end there.
No.
But us as fans were enjoying second, third, fourth, and fifth. And not many times we get that. So that was pretty cool.
It gave me throwbacks to the old Dirt Vision before TV time when you listen to like the audio when Johnny Gibson was still like the track announcer because he was still doing his thing. We're talking about how good David Gravel is gone, but then talking about the battle that was really cool. It's kind of a throwback. I enjoyed that.
Steph put up a comment there about the Morgan Cup staying in Pennsylvania. TJ won the trophy and it stays here. So the Morgan Cup is a traveling trophy. Whoever wins that race, the trophy goes with them for the year. One of them kind of rivalry things. And, unfortunately the Morgan Cup kind of the last couple of years, I think that whole deal is kind of like when it first came out, it was very like, we want this, this is a thing. And I think that was promoted more by the Outlaws than us. As far as like them kind of picking at us, there was a guy that worked for the Outlaws. I think he still does something, but he was social media at that time. And I remember that being like a big thing, the Morgan Cup and it's staying or going and, going with the Outlaws or whatever. But that's been, maybe it's just me, but has that been quieter the last few years about that? Like the hype about it, and then rain doesn't help.
Right. Yeah.
But even when it goes off its schedule, I don't remember that being much of a thing the last couple of years. Is it just me?
Yes. I think the rain's the bigger problem. It's always that they remember that first couple of years. Didn't they do like a random ass like 10-car dash after the race for the Morgan Cup years ago when it first came out? It was like it was something weird afterwards, and they would race something goofy like that. Did for like a year or two, and then I think it's gotten better whenever it's now just whoever wins the feature gets the Morgan Cup. But I think the rain keeps falling on Saturdays in the spring, and it keeps kicking it down. There were some years where it always kind of became this prelim night for the Summer Nationals.
Yeah, and it's the third, the buildup of the Outlaws when they come to Williams Grove, it builds up more and more throughout the year, right? I mean, the Morgan Cup's a nice little, all right, they get some laps in, cool. You had the Morgan Cup that at least means something. Then you have the Summer Nationals, would pay $20,000 to win, but not obviously on National Open level. And but yeah, that's I think the rain, because it rain was it 2 or 3 years ago?
And like the same thing now. It keeps raining on Saturday.
Yeah. So I think that's probably part of it. It's hard to promote it when it keeps getting rained
And
out.
it's been living in Charlotte for all these years.
Yeah.
They go so like if one of our guys
But-
wins, it'd be this year to stay in I guess Williams Grove's office until next May. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a 10-car
Yeah,
dash.
it was always so weird that they'd win. I remember I think Hodnet won one of the first ones, won the feature for that spring event, and it was like a random 10 car dash for like 10 laps or 10, 15 laps, something goofy that no one cared about. You can't have it afterwards.
Right. I think it's better that they do it this way.
Yeah, just whoever wins the dang race.
Back to weed sport. Yeah, just a quick recap, kind of just, David Gravel wins. Very good battle between 2 through 5, 6 there. And any other thoughts from this race?
No, sir.
Weed sport's weird.
It's definitely weird, but it actually was really fun to watch.
I
enjoyed that race.
It was definitely
I enjoyed that
entertaining.
track.
And now let's go to quick recap. Before all this started, high limit was at Lernerville on Tuesday. Rico Abreu gets to win over Corey Day and Brad Sweet. Sheldon Hodenshield used one of his freebies. He got a top 10. Cody Hartlaw made the trip out. He ran pretty well. Got into a little deal with Brandon Spithaller. Nasty wreck. That just kind of a racing deal. Nothing like just go fighting for the same spot. Yeah, thoughts from this race?
Wasn't the worst race I've ever seen. Corey Day doing Corey Day things, trying to run him down there. That was a fun battle. Was sweet. Rico kind of got going when he got going there, but pretty normal learner. I mean, it was heavy Lernerville for what Lernerville is. Kind of the same deal that it was heavy there. So, but it was a good race. I was entertained by it for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I was a little surprised to see Hodenshield use one of his freebies there for this one, but more power to him. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so let's take a look at the week ahead. Yellow Breeches race and it's fan appreciation night on Friday at Williams Grove. It's 410s, 358s, and I think it's also the Bow Hunters something.
Bash, brawl.
Bow Hunters Bash or something like that. So if you get there early, they're going to have the back pit open for the fans. This is their second and last fan appreciation night of the year. So it's always cool when they do that. The tracks do this kind of stuff. So that'll be on Friday night. Port Royal on Saturday night. Limited late model. I think it's limited. It's a big limited late model race. I can't remember who. It was like a memorial race. I'll have to look it back up. My bad. And then 410s and super late models. On Saturday, you could catch that on Flow Racing. And then Lincoln has the Rack Daddies. The Rack Daddies Rumble. So we have the Bow Hunters Bash and the Rack Daddies Rumble. Tony says just announced $15 general admission for the Grove this Friday.
And $1 hot dogs.
And $1, yeah.
And that post actually swayed my vote for I'm going Friday at the Kid.
And free pit access before the race.
Before the races. And I know she loved that last time for the front stretch thing. I mean, that $15, I mean, $5, but still pretty cool of them to be doing that. Especially before we go into this next 2 months of big money races.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Tyler. The Ron Zimmerman Memorial, $6,000 to win for the limited late models at Port Royal. And the 410s and super late models. Also dollar dog night there at Williams Grove on Friday night. It's pretty cool. It sounds like a good deal. A nice cheap night out. Hopefully the weather stays good and get out to the racetrack. Also on Friday night, and this is probably where I'll be. Clinton County has USAC East Coast Pro Stock 270s 4-cylinders, and they're having spectator drag races. I'm very intrigued. Fans are going to be able to take their cars out and drag race on the track, I guess. I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
I watched those videos from that one asphalt track. Jimmy, I think you should probably take the Subi out there.
No.
Come on, chicken.
No. It's not going to happen. They also have a
That
limited
card?
late model race tomorrow night. It's their fair week, but I'm excited to see USAC East Coast there. Some wingless action at Clinton County, and then also BAPS on Saturday night. It's their kids' night. I believe they have dollar dogs as well. But they have the Super Sportsman, obviously, limited late models, Legends. What's the other division? Oh, right. I got them all.
What?
Super Sportsman, limited late models, Legends. I'm forgetting one. I'm forgetting one of their divisions.
Probably stocks.
Yeah, maybe you're right, Street Stocks. But cool kids night on Saturday. So that if you guys got kids and it's night, Friday, Saturday, good deals both at Williams Grove and BAPS. Good to go check that out. Kids 12 and under are free, and adults are $15. Dollar dogs, good deal.
Another one Friday night, BAPS. The Friday night, the Micro Trek has their first points race at the McGrew Bid Motorplex. Friday night is our first points paying race. 600 micros, non-wing micros. I forget the exact rundown, but that I'm actually going to be going. I will be a paying spectator, and my son, my 4-year-old, I'm going to take him to his first race this weekend. So
Nice.
I'm going to take him and spectate his first event somewhere fairly close to home, that when he's ready to go, we can just kind of roll out. We're not far from home, and we're not locked into any responsibilities. So excited to get up there. Hopefully that all goes. I didn't look at the weather yet, but I know he's pumped for sure. He's going to be disappointed if he can't, but looking forward to that Friday night.
So all three of us are going to be somewhere different on Friday night, supporting local tracks. It's awesome. It's good to see. It's good to hear. Yeah, and then obviously, not obviously, but Knoxville Nationals, 360 Nationals are this weekend, and then the Capitani Classic is Sunday, and we get right into Knoxville Nationals. So we'll be talking about that more probably next week on Monday. It will be because we'll be dark here then. For the most part, there will be some sprint car racing still here, but the big tracks are pretty much all going to be dark next weekend then. So get to the track this week. Some good deals out there. And hopefully the weather holds up. I know it's going to be kind of, it's going to be August, the end of July here, thunderstorms.
Never know.
You never know. So, and then real quick on Thursday, Rolling Podcast with Brock Hamaker. Will be the guest, and Tony Jackson, who won the $5,000 at Big Diamond in their big sportsman race this past Friday. And we will also, we're gonna do the double here because he's gonna be on Thursday night, and then he will be on our show again on Monday night. So we'll get to know him a little bit. And yeah, I think that's all I got there. Let's see what the comments have to say here. Hagerstown was fun last night. Danny Dietrich ran a super late model at Hagerstown. I saw his post. He was it didn't go as according to plan, but it was cool to see him in a super late model get his feet wet and something like that.
That car, one half the black 48, the other half the white 29. That's pretty sick.
But, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had fun, Tyler, because it didn't look like it was fun on what I watched on Flow. So that didn't look entertaining to me. But I'm glad you had fun, my friend.
Announced Jason personally will be at Knoxville. So yeah, he had a okay run at Eldora, and they're gonna keep that train rolling here in that 25 car. So it's cool to see him. I'm intrigued to see I think he was our last guest. Our last guest actually. So he'll be at Knoxville. Brad Weatherby says Knoxville watch party at my house. Only if you have some booze. Let's go, man. The car was hand painted. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, so that's what I saw. I saw he mentioned that, and I looked at it. I was like, that's actually cool. So if he does, for some reason, shirts, I would probably get one of those because that was a cool looking car. Yep, said it.
Amp Base says I'm gonna need me Jay-Z photography and T2T stickers for the new car.
The new double OK getting ready to roll out there, boys.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if you want that, Aunt Bay. Every time you put a sticker in a car, they start having mechanical problems.
That's not true.
Ask Craig Perigo.
He didn't have any.
He went spinning through the infield now.
That's not.
He goes from winning with Trent Yoder every week to now he's finishing behind Brett.
I'm sure he'll turn that. He won right after he put the sticker
Yeah,
on
but
the
we
car.
didn't know it was on the car yet. Didn't count.
I do have some T2T stickers though. Next time when I see you,
And he doesn't say hi.
and I'll make sure to say hi and give you some stickers. Tony, hell yeah, there you go.
No promo, no free shout outs, but here you go, buddy. They're ready.
Tony says special interview with Trent Yoder will be posted sometime this week over for the Rollin podcast.
And I can confirm what Brad's saying. I actually didn't see it till today, Brad. He has a fire pit that looks sick and a huge ass projector and speaker set up to watch Dirt Vision outside by the fire. So
Nice.
that is a thing. Jimmy, I'll send that to you because it might be a swing. We have softball that
We
day.
Softball that day.
And Clinton
County. Yeah.
Brad, we're busy. We're doing charity work.
But yeah, any other thoughts from this past week? This is a short podcast.
It's a
short one for
timed
us.
podcast.
Perfectly timed, but I agree. But
Drink it and dump it.
Oh yeah, we gotta do drink it and dump it. Drink it and dump it. Put your drink it and dump it picks in the chat. As always, drink it somebody who you want to give a shout out to. Dump it to somebody who you maybe want to just shed a tear for.
That's a good idea. Off-season interview.
I did think about getting TJ. I don't know if he would or not, but I could get a hold of Ethan. We probably should.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Maybe 2 guests next week. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Drink it. I'll go first. My drink it. I'm taking the easy one. TJ Stutz. Hell yeah. Let's go. Posse. And then dump it to I'll go with Giovanni Stelzi. He's been having some pretty shitty luck. I'll give him. He looked like he could have been a little bit more of a contender, but kept getting caught up in things. So go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay-Z.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead. I got to
Okay. Easy drink it, TJ. Easy drink it there, and I'll give a little like golf, high class sip to Preston Latimus, 358 win at BAPS Saturday night. I don't know if it's his first career 358 win, but it's got to be close, right? To it, so he got the win there. Dump it would be, man. I don't want to sound too critical, but that BAP Surface Wednesday was a little disappointing to me. I hated it. I hate that it went that way. I don't know how much was in or out of their control. I don't know. The rain wasn't a lot. It did delay it, but it was already wet, so it just was over the edge. But man, I really wish that show could have been as good as we've seen BAPS be. So I'll dump it to the surface that we were provided and the potential really good show that track usually puts on.
Chris?
I'll drink it for David Gravel. 100 wins. It's a big accomplishment, whether we like the guy or not. 100 wins in the World of Outlaws is a big deal. And once again, Jimmy and I are together at a racetrack when something milestone happens. So that's pretty cool. And dump it. I guess the people just fight in the infield. I don't like that.
Yep.
Like, I wasn't there. I guess I missed it by leaving to go to the bathroom. But it's unfortunate.
Yeah, let's
that was Bear Hill.
Yeah. I don't know about that. But yeah, I agree.
There's less kids up there usually, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they suck because that's what they keep telling us.
Big dump it to URC only getting 13 cars at Bridgeport. I mean, you're going up against Summer Nationals and 358s were at BAP, so I kind of a scheduling thing. I think you lost some there. Steph says, drink it to Posse, TJ Stutz. Dump it, idiots who ruined the race for people on Saturday night at the Grove. Cheers to that. Tyler says, drink it, unbelievable crowds at Williams Grove. It really was. It was so packed. It was just short of National Open vibes on Saturday night. Like, it was pretty packed. And then Prairie Dirt Classic, Pierce from the back twice to win on the last lap. Dump it to BAPS track, says Marie. Drink at the J-Mac doing a shoey in posse territory, says Aunt Bay. Daniel Lee says, not drink it, but chugging out of the cone for TJ Stutz' win at the Grove. Dump it to DD Struggles and in the late model at Hagerstown. He just got out of struggle all weekend, just not even just in the late model, but. And Santa says, drink it to T2T for always putting on an awesome show. Dump it to negative fans. That might be the best one of the night.
But I also want to go back to shout out to the positive fans, Steph, Matthew, anyone else that came and found us throughout the weekend. That was cool. It's always cool when you get visitors down there, but can't make it end on a negative note.
Mandy says, drink it to Mr. TJ. We beat the goddamn Outlaws Stutz as well as the energy at Williams Grove after the win, and then dump it to Devin Borton's accident, Spit Holler at Lernerville, and the fight at Williams Grove. Those are all good ones. Agree to those. Tony says, drink it to Tony Jackson winning the 5K at Big Diamond and Brock Hammaker finishing third and only his fourth race. All very, very good drink it and dump it. Thank you guys for putting them in the chat and
which one does Joey want?
Yeah,
which one does he want?
I could tell you probably has a 0% chance of getting either one.
Get that Coors Light one. Little Reinhardt action on that. It's all bent up. Look, Chris was driving the car that night.
It would be a blue 32 upside down, buddy. That'd be my car tomorrow night. Cartoon Land.
Yeah, it stayed.
Oh, maybe. Let's see if I can pull over.
To everybody that we saw this weekend, it was a fun time. I know a couple people followed us from just talking. So if you're watching, cheers to you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. That was one of the most fun times I ever had at Williams Grove. I will say that. Definitely a great time. And yeah. Yes, the Zemco car sounds like it will be back this weekend. Shout out to Chase Dietz and the Zemco team back at Port Royal this week.
And the next camping excursion is the 50 for anyone there. Should we get a cone? A new cone?
Yeah, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
That's usually our favorite one. That's usually that's kind of where it all started for this whole thing. So that one's always special.
Yeah, that's a big weekend. That was the last big one we've had probably. Brett Perigo with the glow sticks last year, and we had our signs stolen, and I camped out in a tent too small for my big ass.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a weekend. It was freaking hot that day. Holy shit, was it hot. We all took naps in our cars with the AC on. We did a Facebook Live that day from sitting in, our sunglasses on in blazing heat. But that's a hell of a fun weekend. I had a gallon of chicken corn soup because I never had fair food before. So from the church stand, did that. That was a good experience. Looking forward to that again this year for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I got it. Actually gives me a reminder. I have to renew my spot. Our 2 spots that we had.
We've talked about it 3 times this week.
I know.
Santos very limited. So we have to work on that.
Yeah.
We had some merch. We got through it slowly. We didn't reorder.
We have I think 9 shirts now. 8 shirts.
Need everybody to share the show. Get more people viewing so it's worth it for us to get merch. Not that it wasn't before. We love doing it. We gave away more than we sold probably, for sure. But share the show, tell a friend, subscribe, like, comment, something. I don't know. Yeah. Appreciate everybody that is here every week. Love the couple fans and a couple people that watch us just talk about racing we don't know anything about, but we have a great time. We appreciate all of you, and we'd like to keep growing it. So, that's really, we do what we can and try to get the word out a little bit. Dakota, our buddy Dakota, was running around Williams Grove yelling T2T all night while we were being degenerate. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Good or bad publicity, but we'll definitely get more in the future. I'm sure that's coming.
For sure.
Yeah. We'll work on that.
We know you
But-
guys want it. We'll be more motivated to do it. Now we're starting to get pressure. So
we'll work on it soon. So yeah, great seeing everybody this past weekend. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will be back next week with Brock Hammaker, and you'll also be on Rolling on Thursday. So we'll see you guys next